Welcome to another episode of You Know
Boom, baby.
brought to you by the Run the Play
Network.
I'm your host, Anthony. To my right, I got my boy Philly Phil in the bill. Today, we're going to be talking about the draft lottery and how it went. Winners, losers, overreactions, underreactions. Phil's got a full lottery mock for you guys. I got the first 5 picks because I'm lazy.
He good.
It's gonna be a banger. So stick around. I mean, obviously, yeah, Dallas landed the number 1 pick in this draft lottery. And everyone on Twitter kind of went crazy about this NBA draft is rigged conversation and stuff. What do you think about that, Phil?
Okay, so I want to say it is. I was thinking 100% it is. But if we think about it, by a coin toss between the Chicago Bulls and Dallas, I think they just got extremely lucky. Because one of the things I was hearing was that they were deciding between who gets a certain spot for the lottery between the Dallas Mavericks and the Chicago Bulls. They both had the same record, so they did a coin flip. The coin landed in favor of the Dallas Mavericks, so they got that pick section, and then the Chicago Bulls got the other pick. Then all of a sudden, that shoots up, and they get the number 1 pick. But if you think about it, if Chicago wins, they shoot up, and they get the number 1 pick. So I'm thinking maybe it really is just extremely lucky, or it could be that Adam Silver said, hey, if you trade Luka to a contending team, we'll give you the first round pick. So to me, I am now going to say it was very extreme luck.
Yeah.
Extreme luck. I was 100% with the rigged part, but after hearing about the coin toss thing, I'm going to say it was extremely lucky.
I'm going to say it's lucky, too. Mm-hmm. For a couple reasons, right? The first thing I saw, Christian sent me this morning, actually, is for everyone that said, like, this is rigged, like, the NBA would have had to have planted Kyrie tearing his ACL.
Yeah.
You know, because if Kyrie's there, this team is probably not the 10th seed. This team probably makes it into the play-in or into the playoffs. So that's number 1. Number 2, if I were to rig the draft, I would have given Chicago the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Because Chicago is a bigger market.
Exactly.
I understand the whole trade Luka, you get Cooper Flag type of thing, but I don't think they needed to do that. And I think there was like conspiracy theories earlier on the year that I brought up on the show where they traded Luka to sell the team. Like that was the whole conspiracy. So I don't know how that could be a conspiracy. And then like now all of a sudden they get Cooper Flag and now we have another conspiracy. Like I think people dig too deep into it. I also like if I was rigging it, San Antonio would have been another team
that
I would have given the number 1 pick to because you want your 2 biggest like guys to be like the face of
Cooper
San
and
Antonio,
Wemby.
you know. So I think I don't know. I think if I were rigging it, I would have done a better job.
Way better job.
Even Chicago. I think like Chicago hasn't been popping since D Rose. You know, so
you called it too.
What I call?
You called that. You literally said like for the last like that front office sucks because their draft picks have been terrible.
They just don't hit, bro. Patrick
really
Williams. Don't. I mean, Buzelis looks good, but I don't think he's like a franchise savior or nothing like that. Kobe White. I like the Josh Giddey trade, but I don't think it's like a
groundbreaking
franchise savior. You know? Exactly. So every Chicago Bulls move ever is lateral. It's like we make this move to stay as the fucking 9th seed. You know, like we're not going down, but we're damn sure not going up either.
I just feel bad for him, bro. Yeah. Like something needs to change between them and the Kings, if I'm being for real. Front office wise.
Hey, I'm pretty. Did the Kings fire Vlade?
I don't think they did.
No,
I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest losers of the draft though were definitely the Jazz. Like. Out of all the teams that were there, I think Washington, like, you could see the kind of future. New Orleans, bro, respectfully did not need to be in that. Like, they're too good, you know? Like, they didn't need a top pick. Charlotte, I think they just suck at drafting. Like,
exactly.
So it don't matter where they're picking at. They're going to miss
anyway. It really doesn't.
But Utah, I think, in my lifetime, Utah's always been a good team. Like, if you really think about it, like, when have the Jazz have been bad? Other than, like, at this point or, like, when they had to draft Trey Burke. You know, like, other than that, like, we had the Gordon Hayward era. We had Deron Williams, Carlos Boozer.
Yep.
We had the Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert era. Like, they are a great franchise, respectfully. You know, I know they don't have like the rings to back it up or anything like that, but they consistently build good teams, and I think they're just missing that face.
Yeah.
And they could have definitely had that in this draft, and that would have been big. So I would have liked to see them get number one. But Dallas landed it, man.
I'm excited about this. I told you before, I did not want to see Cooper Flag on a Charlotte Hornets or, I'm going to be for real, Utah Jazz team only because of the way it's constructed now. I wanted to see him go somewhere like the Portland Trail Blazers or the Spurs because I think those organizations are good as well. And I think that what they built, he could have instantly gone in and either have the pathway to be a star or fit in with whatever they're building.
Okay, but talk about the bottom four, right?
Yeah.
Between Utah, Charlotte, Washington, and New Orleans, would you have taken Utah or Washington? Because I'm guessing you wouldn't want to see him in New Orleans or Charlotte.
I wouldn't want to see him in New Orleans or... Well, no, yeah. I wouldn't want to see him in New Orleans or Charlotte just because of their track record with stuff and players, but... I would have liked to see him with the Wizards.
I think the Wizards are cool right now, but I think they're also like in the right direction.
Yeah.
You know, like they're like a young piece away, really. Utah, to me, I just think needed it. Like they needed it the most, and they deserve it. I think like I get what you're saying. The way it's constructed now, he wouldn't fit. But I mean, it ain't nothing to trade John Collins. You know, like you at that point you could give that man away.
You're like, hey, Johnny boy.
You could let John Collins stay with a season ticket owner, you know? Like, he could take the season off. But
oh, man.
I would have liked to see Cooper Flag in Utah. I understand what you're saying, though. I think Portland would have been sick if they could have found a way to get him there. Or Chicago, I think, would have been sick. But, yeah. Let's go into talking about kind of our mocks now.
Yeah.
Let's go pick by pick.
All right.
With the first pick, obviously Dallas takes Cooper Flag, right?
I actually have him getting I'm just playing. I got him Cooper Flag.
I thought you were dead ass.
I got him getting
You
Cooper.
got my ass.
I got him Cooper.
You got my ass. Okay. Number 2, and I think this is where I get a little hot takey, but I have them taking Ace Bailey. I don't love the 3-guard thing. I just don't think we've ever seen that work in the NBA. I think you need that constant guard rotation, obviously, but I just think those guys are too good, and none of them are really elite knockdown shooters.
I feel you.
So that would be my knock on it. I think I would not be mad if they took Dylan Harper. I think Dylan Harper is one of those prospects that, like, yeah, you have to take, you know, like he's there. But I went with Ace Bailey here because I think they have the talent on this roster to let Ace develop. And I think if Ace develops correctly, then he's the perfect player to put next to Wembanyama.
Got you.
Dylan Harper might be better now, but I think if Ace Bailey develops the right way, that I think his ceiling is higher than Dylan Harper's. Me personally.
Okay, I like that. I was thinking about Ace Bailey, to be honest. I wasn't thinking Dylan Harper at all. But to be honest, for the Spurs, I went with VJ.
I don't love that, bro.
I went with VJ only because, like, I like that he is 6'5", and he's not trying to be a point guard. He could be a shooting guard that could turn into a two-way for them, and that still leaves room for scoring on his end between De'Aaron Fox and Wemby, giving him, making sure they give him the ball sometimes, maybe, or just come off the bench.
I don't love that, bro.
I like it.
I just don't think he's on that tier with those guys. With Ace and Dylan, like, those guys have, like, league shifting potential. You know, VJ, to me, I think he doesn't have that, but he would be a good role player for a team. Yeah. And if they were to take him at number 2, I would have just said trade back, because you could trade back to number 4 to
That's
number 5.
That's what I'm thinking too.
And get him. I wouldn't. If you take him at number 2, bro, I think that's a terrible decision for your franchise.
I don't know, because I feel like they have, like, especially if they get a chance at trading number 2 pick for something else, I feel like they're in win now mode because they have De'Aaron Fox and Wemby together. So I'm like, why not go after a role player like VJ?
Because you have the number 2 pick. Dylan Harper and Ace are there, bro. Even if you let them rock in the G League, let's say, I think either you trade this pick for a Giannis or a KD, or you fucking take one of the guys that has star potential. Because this team doesn't even really have that other than Wemby. Like, De'Aaron Fox is really good, don't get me wrong, but they don't have guys that have, like, ceiling. You know, like, you need to have that Shea, Jalen Williams, Chet. Yeah. Like, you need to have those guys. You know, you can't have De'Aaron Fox, Wemby, and then a bunch of role players. That's just not a championship.
I just see Spur on him for some reason. I see Spurs in him.
I don't love it, Phil.
And also, I think because also later on they have a pick that I think will make up for it.
Okay. I think, bro, if they were to do that, the internet would probably explode.
Yeah, maybe.
At number 3, I have Philly taking Dylan Harper. I just think, again, like I said, I don't love the 3 guards, but I think Maxey and McCain are great off the ball, and both of them can shoot. So I think that would work. And I think if, like, Dylan Harper falls to number 3, you have to take him. You know, like, he's that good of a prospect. I personally, and again, I'm not trying to knock you, but I wouldn't take an Edgecombe over Dylan Harper in any situation, really. Unless I'm like, this is free agency and I'm trying to pay someone $15 million instead of $40 million. But if I'm drafting Dylan Harper.
Okay. I mean, that's not bad. And once again, with the Spurs thing, I mean, they could take Dylan Harper or they could take an Ace Bailey. But I don't know. I guess I'm just looking at fit for that one because I feel like they could contend for the playoffs next year. But with the Sixers, I mean, you pretty much just have to go with the best bet. And I am iffy on Dylan Harper only because I see Tyrese Maxey, I see Jared McCain. I think you already have your guards there. And maybe he could play the 2 there, but I just feel like Ace Bailey is just a fun person to have there. Like, and I feel like maybe you could have him, and I know this is going to sound weird, learn under Paul George. I still feel like he has some knowledge, but I would love to see Ace Bailey in a Philly jersey. And then even that name, Ace, or something like that, Bailey, in the background would be nice. Because what do you honestly...
Come on, bro. You drafted for marketing or we drafted for basketball?
Well, I mean, what are the Sixers going to really do? They have Joel Embiid gone, and, like, it's just going to be the Tyrese and Paul George show? Like,
bro,
do we want to do Tyrese Maxey, Jared McCain, Dylan Harper? Do we want to?
I think so. I think Jared McCain is not like he's good, don't get me wrong, but he's not good enough to, like, not come off the bench. He could be a 6th man of the year. I mean, we saw Tyler Hero do it. I don't see why Jared McCain can't do it. I think, bro, like, Dylan Harper to me is a better player right now, right? And again, I'm not super high on Dylan Harper either. I think if I were to take Dylan Harper or Scoot Henderson as a prospect, I probably would take Scoot Henderson. But Dylan Harper, bro, Ace Bailey's got too much ifs. You know, he's an if guy for sure. If he develops, he'll be right. I don't trust Philly to develop him because Philly did not develop Ben Simmons well. They fucked up Markelle Fultz, Okafor, Nerlens Noel.
Yep.
Like, the only one they really developed... Yeah, the only one they really hit on was Joel Embiid, you know? So... I would just take the best talent. I don't think you take a development guy there. Fucking Zaire Smith, like they can't develop prospects, right?
I feel you.
Dylan Harper to me is like, if he's there, bro, you have to take him. There's just no world where he falls to number 4. You know, as a player, bro, I understand what you did.
Yeah.
I understand your mindset where you're drafting for fit. But there's a point, bro, where, like, some teams need superstars. And I get that these teams all kind of got lucky. But Dylan Harper's he's got too much of that it factor, bro, where he could change a game, change a season, change a trajectory for a franchise, you know? I don't think, like, a VJ, for example, like, I don't think he's there, bro. But I do have VJ going number 4 to Charlotte. I just think you've tried everything with LaMelo. You've tried, like, having a scorer next to him. You've tried having, like, catching shooters next to him. I think you try having an athletic wing that could play defense next to him, athletic 2 guard that could play defense next to him. And then if that doesn't work, then you're like, all right, like, we gotta figure out what we're gonna do with Melo. You know?
I feel you.
I think VJ would be the perfect player for this team. I think we haven't seen anything like it in Charlotte in a while since, like, Gerald Wallace. So I like VJ here. Yeah, I'm guessing you went Dylan Harper here. Please tell me you went Dylan Harper.
1,000% I went Dylan Harper here. I thought without a doubt if he's not going to San Antonio, it's either Charlotte or San Antonio. But San Antonio already did say that they're probably going to take him and they like the idea.
I don't believe those reports, though.
Yeah.
Bro. I do think they're going to take him. I don't feel like, unless I see Mitch Johnson come out there and say that, I'm not going to believe any of those reports, bro. Because during the draft, and we saw this in the NFL with Shedeur Sanders, so many teams throw smoke screens because they like, we're going to take Dylan Harper, so you should probably trade us for this pick, you know, because Dylan Harper won't be there when you pick or something like that. That's how I look at it. But I get what you're saying.
Yeah, I think with the Charlotte Hornets one, I do kind of like Dylan Harper being here because I think with LaMelo Ball, I feel like this would be a good spot to have him be a backup and then also be able to, like, test LaMelo because there were those rumors saying, like, they wanted to what's it called? They wanted to trade him for a sec. I mean, obviously they're probably not going to do that, but if they do trade him, why not give him some competition? Have a Dylan Harper just in case to build around if things were to go wrong.
I think if you draft Dylan Harper, you should trade Melo. Like, there's no point of running this like two-guard lineup. I just think it's kind of ugly. It kind of reminds me of when the Grizzlies drafted Ja, and they traded Mike Conley like that season. And I know LaMelo isn't like a 35-year-old guard or nothing like that, but I just think like you kind of reset, and you could easily run like you could have a good team with Dylan Harper, Brandon Miller, Mark Williams as like your young big three, and then LaMelo will obviously have value somewhere. Maybe LaMelo for that Spurs number 2 pick could be interesting.
I mean,
but I don't know if there's a world where Dylan Harper falls to number 4. It would be interesting though. But at number 5, I got the Utah Jazz taking Derek Queen. Now, I know they have Walker Kessler, and I know that's probably a big part of why most people would object to this, but I don't think Walker Kessler's a dude that's just like undeniable. You know, like every team wants Walker Kessler. He's a good role-playing big. I think you trade Walker Kessler away because Derek Queen has that superstar potential, and I think that you kind of need that in Utah, like we were talking about. Like they needed that number 1 pick. So I think you trade Walker away. You add Derek Queen. Now you have Keontae George. You have Derek Queen. And then next year you hopefully get the number 1 pick and you land at Bonsta or Drew Peterson. And like then you have like a real future there.
That actually is interesting. I like what you're saying there about the AJ thing.
Yeah.
But I went a different route with it. I did. Only
Mark
because
Sears.
Huh?
Mark Sears.
Imagine. Only reason why I went with this player, and it's still close because I have the next player up on that, but I went with Trey Johnson to Utah Jazz.
I'm not mad at that either though. I do like how that sounds.
Yeah, only because I like his scoring prowess. I think that only because too, I don't think they're gonna trade Walker Kessler. I see these reports, but I feel like they're not gonna trade him. I also feel like Lauri Markkanen's obviously gonna stay along, and they also still have what's his name, homeboy with the whole Mormon thing.
The Duke player. I know
Duke
you're
player.
talking about.
Kyle Filipowski. So I feel like why not just get another like guard who can maybe he's not gonna play it forward. He's either gonna be point guard or shooting guard. But I feel like he'd be fun to have around in Utah, and also he could create his own shot. So why not just have that around these guys, sell some more tickets? Because, I mean, let's be for real. Utah ain't doing nothing next year. And then just have a little competition with Colin Sexton, too.
And what I do like about that is I think if you drafted Trey Johnson, there's no world where he doesn't develop right because he's playing with Colin Sexton and Clarkson, who are both veteran guards who play a similar role that he's going to be playing in the NBA. So I think you drafted Trey Johnson, and it's like, now we got these vets that can teach him. And then once we're ready to move on from these guys, Trey Johnson could get in there and get in that role. Especially if they get an AJ. Now you have Keontae, you have Trey Johnson, AJ, Lauri, and Walker Kessler. Like that's a very decent
I like
line.
that.
Trey Johnson's a dude that I would not be mad at going in this pick. Now, Phil's got the rest of his 6 through 14. But before we get into that, let's hear a word from our sponsor. Boom. Fantasy.
Man, okay, LeBron hit my parlay. Let's get it.
Oh, shit, he hit it?
Yeah, bro. Look at this.
I won $200. I tailed your parlay.
How the heck did you win $200?
I used Boom Fantasy. I used their pick and spin, spun the wheel, got 10 times my money.
Bro, you got to hook me up.
If you use code RTP, you could get a risk-free bet up to $100. Let's get back to the video.
All right, we're back, guys. Going into 6 through 14 real quick. Just saying, I love the draft. I love looking at these soon-to-be NBA superstars and NBA role players and just putting them on different teams, making different lineups. It's just a fun thing to do. So, I mean, Anthony probably told me to do 5, but I went and did the whole lottery.
I didn't tell you to do nothing. You could. Go ahead.
Okay, my bad. But at number 6, this is the Washington Wizards pick. I really think this is a fun pick for him, and I think this is also good for them in the future. I went with Derek Queen. Only because I like the idea of having an offensive big like Derek Queen with a defensive big like Alexander Sarr. Because I feel like he could play the 5, do his thing, have a little Jalen Brunson cat thing with him and
AJ Johnson?
Not AJ Johnson. Who was the starting point guard?
Bub Carrington?
With Bub Carrington. And you have Alexander Sarr, who is just going to be all over the place playing the 4, playing up defense, and could even get some plays going with him and Derek Queen. I feel like it'd be a good big lineup. And I feel like it worked too with Keyshawn George there.
I like that. I like that a lot. I just think Washington, like you're kind of saying, like they have a lot of guys. I don't see what hurts about taking another dude with. I legit think like other than Cooper Flag, Derek Queen has the most superstar potential in this draft. He just seems like a monster, bro. I don't know why I could see come draft time him moving up to like the top 3 spot, similar to how Donovan Clingan did last year. And how,
like the Sixers probably taking him,
like
or the Spurs.
Maybe not maybe not just because the teams that are there.
Got you.
But as far as like a prospect goes, he should be a top 3 prospect. I take him. To me, he's probably my number 2 player in this draft.
Got you.
It might be a hot take, but yeah, I like that a lot. I like that a lot. Where you got New Orleans going?
At New Orleans Pelicans, I chose Common Maluach.
That's your
going
boy.
Here. I mean, I like him.
Yeah.
I do. I just think that it makes so much sense, like, to get another center here. Because why not? I mean, you have Dejounte Murray. You have Zion Williamson. You have a pretty small team. And then Yves Missy as your, like, biggest center and only center, I believe.
Yeah.
Why not just get a center like Common Maluach who can come off the bench and block the hell out of people and then even move his feet, play some good defense?
I don't like teams trading their picks a lot, but I think this is a team that I would trade the pick.
Yeah.
Just because I don't think Common Maluach is that much better than Yves Missy. You know, so you're not really improving anywhere. But I do think if they take the pick, they should draft Maluach.
I think he'd be good for the team, to be honest. I think he would, especially with Zion there. This would help him big time.
But does he like how much better is he than Yves? You know, or how much does he improve the team? I don't think much.
I think he spaces the floor better than Yves, so it's a different type of
like
role or talent that he brings to it.
That's fair. That's fair. Brooklyn.
We moving Brooklyn. This one was interesting because I mean, obviously, I haven't said Jeremiah Fears yet, and I just think that he's probably gonna fall, in my opinion.
I don't love him either.
Yeah, I've seen him play. Like, he's not bad. It's just that for his skill set, I think he falls. Also his size, but I have the Brooklyn Nets taking Asa Newell.
I love that boy.
I just think it makes sense. Like, I'm not saying Brooklyn's bad. I just think that you got D'Lo, you got Cam Thomas, and you also have what's his name, the shooting guard Keon Johnson. You have that. You also have.
Respectfully though, bro, I don't think any of those guys scare me away from taking a prospect.
Yeah, you know? But do I want Jeremiah Fears with that? Do I want Kasparis with that?
I would take one of those guys over Asa because I think this team is similar to Washington where they need a superstar. And I don't think they have that right now, so I would just take shots and hope I hit on someone. Asa Newell, to me, is a guy that I think is going to be best suited on a good team as a role player. And I just don't think Brooklyn needs that right now.
I feel you. Unless
they're trying to make the playoffs with this core.
They're not going to. They're not going to make the playoffs.
So, like, Toronto, I think the next pick would make sense. I think Toronto would be pissed off if Brooklyn took Asa Newell because it just, you know.
I just, for some reason, could see them doing it.
I could see it, too.
Yeah, I could see them getting Asa and then just calling it a day.
Yeah.
Next up, number 9, Toronto Raptors. Obviously, big team. So, I mean, you had a weird season. You ended up not competing for a playoff or just competing in the playoffs. So I feel like you just go with the next best available, and it's got to be a guard. I was thinking Kasparis, but I do like the idea of having Concanopoulos there. So I went with Concanopoulos.
Oh, I forgot about him. You know, he would be a guy I'd want to see in New Orleans. As just they have so many guys that could just knock down shots. I think he would fit in there good. But Toronto, I like that a lot too because I think he fits in there well. I want to talk my shit a little bit because everyone in the offseason was like, Toronto won the offseason because they re-signed all their guys. Well, all their guys were weak as fuck, and that's why they were the fucking 9 seed, you know? So, but Concanopoulos there, I could see making a difference. Next to Scotty Barnes, I think that's the type of guy you want to add.
Exactly. And he's also a good shooter.
Exactly.
Like, really good shooter.
Knockdown.
He can dribble the ball a little bit. He can make some plays. Not, like, drastically. Like, I'm not going to say, like, he's Stephen Curry, like, dribbling the ball behind his back over and over again. Like, the Curry, what's it called? In 2K? The Curry
slide.
Curry slide. He ain't doing all that. But he spaces the
that.
floor, and he does his job.
Yeah.
That's what you need.
And he is a very similar prospect to me to what Reed Shepherd was and everyone was in love with Reed Shepherd. I think Con Canupa was very similar to that, and I think this is like a proper range for him. I thought Reed was kind of picked too high, but Con at 9 it's nice.
Okay.
Number 10, I think there's a right answer here because I didn't do obviously the whole lottery like you did, but I did have a player that I wanted Houston to draft, and I'm curious to see if we have the same guy.
All right. So at number 10, I don't know if we do, but at number 10, I have Kasperis Jakusionis.
I went with Mark Sears.
Mark Sears.
I think
I gotta look at more tape on him.
my whole thing is I think they needed that veteran kind of guard, and Mark Sears will instantly bring that in the NBA. Where like when Fred VanVleet's off the court, we have another reliable guy we could go to. Kasperis could be that though.
Yeah,
he could develop into that. I don't love him as a prospect, but I see the ceiling. You know, if he works out, he's gonna be a very good NBA player. If he doesn't, he's gonna be out of the league in like 2 years. So, sure, I'm not mad at it.
All right, Portland Trailblazers. This one was interesting because I low-key think no, you could draft here. I was thinking maybe you could trade this pick.
You could trade this pick
because I'm like, you already have a whole team of like really good young talent. It's like, what's another guy like these guys gonna really like
trade
make
for
better?
Dylan Brooks? Trade for like a veteran.
Yeah,
you know, that's what you need.
But I was watching tape on this guy like a lot, especially last night, and I was thinking maybe this would be really fun to have. Or really good to have for the future. And then if you trade one of your centers, they're going to have to trade Jeremy Grant. This guy could come in and fill in that bench role or even start to replace it. So at number 11, I have Colin Murray Boyles going to the Portland Trailblazers.
I've seen a lot about him. I haven't watched anything on him yet, but I've seen a lot about him.
So far what I've seen is he is a very good backdoor. They already have guys who can find people. And I feel like he cuts back door a lot that they can, and he's also very physical. But his defense was the thing that really took me out, really impressed me. I think he's 6'9" or 6'8", 230, 220 pounds, but he plays up top, and he also plays the interior like really well, especially when he's guarding fours. So he's a 3-4, but I think that for the Trailblazers, that's a good person to have, especially if you're going to play small ball sometimes, or even have Denny at the 3 with him just out there filling the roles. But I like him here for Portland, just in case. But I think they should probably trade the pick.
So you think he's like going to develop, he's a role player guy kind of?
Yes.
Similar to like Asa, right? As far as like, you know what he's going to be when he gets drafted. Okay, I like that. I don't think they need to be taking swings or anything like that. Like just take guys you know could contribute.
Yeah.
Exactly. What do you got for Chicago?
Oof.
They need something, bro.
This one I'm gonna be for real. I was deciding between Jeremiah Fears and Jace Richardson. I was looking at those two.
I like that.
Yeah, because they're already kind of big team, and I was thinking maybe go for a center, but I'm like, I don't like the centers here for you. So I'm like, why not just get?
What about Sorber?
I'm gonna get to that.
Okay.
I was thinking maybe Sorber, but I just don't see him with the Bulls for some reason. I don't see their
That's that marketing draft.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. No, not marketing. I just feel like for his play style, I don't think it fits for what the Bulls are trying to do. Because I feel like they're a faster team, and I feel like Sorber doesn't fit that too well.
Yeah.
So I went with Jeremiah Fears to the Bulls.
That'd be cool.
I feel like he'd be a really good scorer and also a really good option for Giddey and Kobe White to move it to. And I feel like he just fits the identity well for them.
My only knock on that is I think that they have a lot of guards.
Yeah.
And that was what they had last season. If they could trade Kobe or Lonzo or something like that, then sure, I'm with that. But I actually would like Sorber here. I understand what you're saying where they do play fast, but I think that hurts them in the half court where they don't have any way to generate offense in the half court. And I think Sorber would give them that option. And they could finally move on from Vucevic. Vucevic would end up being a Laker. So there you go.
No, not anymore. We need defense.
Vooch.
All right, at number 14.
13.
Oh, my bad, 13. I don't know why I said that. At number 13, this is the Atlanta Hawks pick. I chose Jace Richardson.
I like that.
I chose Jace Richardson.
I like that a lot, actually.
I need to watch a little bit more tape on Jace Richardson because I didn't get to see what his defense is like. But from what I've seen offensively, he's very fast. He's very explosive for his size, too. And he shoots the ball really well.
Yeah.
Shoots the ball really well. So I'm like, why not just have that on the bench? You already have Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels. Like those
He
are.
plays good defense too. He's a really good defender.
Oh, okay, I can't wait to watch more tape on that. You guys know I love defense, but I just think that he fits, or I think that he's a really good bench option for them. And I feel like they could develop him into maybe even a good sixth man to come in for Trae Young or something like that.
I agree, and he could start in those like fourth quarter crunch time minutes if he develops into that guy because he's not a liability on defense.
Exactly.
So you could slide Dyson to the 3 and then run Trae Young, Jace, Dyson, Jalen, and Onyeka. That sounds like a great clutch time 5.
I like that.
So I'm cool with that pick. That's a great pick. That might be my favorite pick of the draft. Last pick, San Antonio picking up 14 back-to-backs.
Yes, sir. This is the last one right here. 14, San Antonio Spurs. I decided to go with Thomas Sorber.
Okay, backing up Wemby.
Yes, I think that he fits what they do, and I feel like he would be a very good option if you have to take Wemby off the floor, have De'Aaron Fox and Thomas Sorber do their thing. I just think that I like the idea of Wemby being a 4 if you don't get the Giannis thing to happen. And I feel like if he's the 4, you got to have a big center that, and you're allowed to have somebody inside or outside, but I think an inside big like Thomas Sorber, who even can shoot the mid-range really well, would be perfect. He's also a very good defender.
Yeah.
Very good defender. I was impressed with his shot blocking ability, and he doesn't move his feet as well as a Kamen Maluach or an Asa Newell, but he's big. He's 6'10", 250 pounds. It doesn't matter. He's an interior force.
Yeah.
If you have Wemby guarding 4s and him just on the inside, I think that's going to be good.
Only thing I don't like about this pick.
Yeah.
I feel like your 2 picks in this hypothetical world for San Antonio, I think it would be really bad if they drafted 2 non-shooters because I do think that's something they're lacking. I think it could be fixed in free agency, obviously.
Yeah.
But I would like to see someone who could knock down some shots on this team because I don't think they have a viable catch and shooter on this team other than Devin Vassell.
Got you.
You know, so that would be my only knock. But other than that, you cooked. I mean, I didn't like your first 5. I'm not gonna lie.
get you.
But you saved it. You saved it with your 6 to 14.
I feel like 1 through 5 or 2 through 4 or 2 through 5 is going to be difficult, but then after that, it gets pretty simple.
Yeah, it does. So let us know at home what you think, what your mock draft is looking like. Make sure to join the Discord. The link is going to be down below. Hey, in June, we're doing trivia. So if you get the most questions right at the end of the month, we're going to give you a $25 Amazon gift card. So make sure you check that out. Phil, let them know what else.
Yes, sir. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow Run the Play Network on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Twitter. Make sure to hit that bell as well. I'm Phil. This Ant-Man straight out the MCU. We out, and let's bounce.
Bounce, baby. Boom.
Boom.